Investigator Surveillance Training Academy has been in business since 2012. I started the company to train investigators for my own investigations company at the time, Mitchell Partners Investigations Services, of which I was owner and operations manager.
Hello, my name is Kevin Roslin. I'm the owner of Investigator Surveillance Training Academy. We, since 2012, have specialized in training new investigators to the industry who have had a difficult time obtaining employment. And it's worked quite well. Since 2012, we've trained hundreds of investigators, most of whom were hired within days of completing a program, and sometimes partway through the program when employers realized how well they were being trained and how well they could integrate into their employers' methods and procedures and so on. So, as the initial introduction has stated, we take the cost of training investigators out of your hands. It doesn't cost you a cent. We developed the program because investigators who were keen to enter the industry approached myself as training officer for my investigations company when I did own that many years ago until 2021. The asked me to train them so they could work for us and on the job training. And I said, like most of you are aware, it's extremely expensive to do so. So I said, no, I won't. I will do it if train you for free, actually, if you go away and don't bother me for a while, come back after you've learned how to do surveillance. Practice, come back. And it worked so well with the initial two investigators who came to me independently in 2012 that I decided to develop the program, and since that time have been quite successful in training many investigators.
So what we are asking basically is when you advertise for a position for surveillance investigators, you'll receive numerous applications, but 90% of them will be from people totally unqualified. Hopefully, the ones that you will reply to on our behalf would be those who have licenses or investigators' licenses or are in the process of obtaining one, or perhaps a community college student in a related discipline. And all we ask is that you send them a quick note saying, we're sorry we can't hire you at this time, but if you receive the necessary surveillance training through Investigator Surveillance Training Academy, then we will certainly reconsider you at a later date. And it can be any other related course as well. It doesn't necessarily have to be ours, but as long as it's on the road surveillance training. What we provide to you in return is when our students graduate, when they're fully trained, and they pass our written and practical on-the-road tests, then we'll refer them back to the agency who has referred them to us in the first place, if you wish us to do so. And we also provide an assessment of the student's abilities, and you can be assured that involving yourself in this program does in no way obligate you to hire or even interview any of our graduates. And you may ask, how do you benefit? Well, basically, it's this. You in the past have spent, $20, $30, $40,000 to train a single investigator because of what I recall the revolving door syndrome, RDS. Which is, people come in with absolutely no idea of what the industry is all about. You offer to train them. Some of them work out, some of them don't. The stats are basically, 1 out of 6 or 7 will work out. So you're training 6 or 7 trainees before you find one that is acceptable. And by that time, you spent $30,000, $40,000 with the supervisors training them, redoing investigations, and then plus wages to the trainees while they train. And in addition to termination pay, because there is no such thing as a probationary period, that's gone by the wayside. It costs you thousands of dollars in common law pay in lieu of notice if you terminate an employee without notice, and that notice can sometimes be months, even if they've worked for you or trained with you for even a week or two. And you can check with your your employment lawyer about that. Unfortunately, that's the way it is. And so the course also weeds out a lot of the investigators who don't have an aptitude for it. When they take our course, they will find out very quickly whether they are suited to this industry, either because of an inability to do surveillance, perhaps not having the patience to sit for long periods of time, and also the lifestyle that they may not find conducive to their personal relationships, family, and friends. And our course definitely weeds out these individuals who may know nothing about this when they come to you for training. So, and the primary point here is that it's at the trainees, the students' full cost. They don't come to you and start training and pay for the course, and they're working for you while they're training. That's not the way the course works. The course works so that they're fully trained before they pass the course and before they're tested. I won't go into full details of the course. It's not necessary for you to know it. But if you want to review what we teach, you can go to our website, www.investigations.space. That's SPACE. And it consists of a 100-page surveillance manual provided in PDF form. Then we send them links to 4 classroom YouTube videos, then 10 short, what I call pre-practical YouTube videos that introduce them to the techniques we're going to be teaching on the road during the practical part of the course. Now, because we have revised our course recently to include a number of links to videos, YouTube videos, detailing the practical part of the course and what they will be introduced to during the actual surveillance, on the road surveillance training part of the course. We have now we are now able to concentrate more effectively on demonstrating the techniques that they will use. So it's more practical than it was previously. Previously, although it was quite effective, a lot of the day was practical day of surveillance training was taken up by some theory and setups and so on. And that's now included in the 10 pre-practical YouTube videos, and we can concentrate more on the techniques that they are required to learn. And the final part of the course is followed by 2 to 4 weeks of practice. When the student goes on the road, they've been shown during the course how to do this practice surveillance, and by the time they complete this 2 to 4 weeks of practice, they come back for us for testing, and they learn by doing. The practice rounds are effectively at their own pace and on their own time, and they're not costing you money by losing subjects while on the job training, as most agencies have done in the past.
And we ask that you assist us and assist yourself, quite frankly, in increasing the basically the pool of investigators. We understand many of us are getting older, and many investigators are retiring, and it requires new investigators into the field. And that's where we come in with your assistance. And what we ask is that you refer people who have applied to your companies for surveillance, who have no background and no training and no experience in surveillance, and refer them to us. We train them at their cost, and you are under no obligation whatsoever to interview these people or hire them or even speak to them. It's just a matter of us of them being referred to us for training, and the ones that work out will be in the investigators pool, and they will eventually reapply to you for a job, but by that time they will have the required training.
Now, even though it's extremely expensive to do so, we understand that some agencies like to train their own investigators to their standards. But we like to stress that students taking our course does not preclude you from complementing our course and our training with your own training to your standards. The students have been advised quite succinctly and repeatedly that the employer is the boss. When they come to you, if you do things differently than we do in the training sessions in the course, then your policies, procedures, and methods are to be adopted as soon as they are made clear to them by their employer. Now, we don't. We want to be careful there. We don't want to upset you by casting dispersions on your training program. But very often, how we have done it when I was training for our own agency prior to developing this course is that the students, these trainees would come with sit with a supervisor, and they sit on surveillance with them for a few days. And as you're aware, much of surveillance is just sitting there waiting for something to happen. That doesn't happen during our course. Our course is fully hands-on. They're always involved in some aspect of surveillance, and that does include, in fact, how to set up different scenarios. Very comprehensive in that matter, by the way. But as far as the actual following, it's done from moving vehicles we pick up on the road at random. We don't wait for hours and hours for a vehicle to leave a residence. And in addition, our program has been in use since 2012 and has been repeatedly updated with new techniques and new equipment, that sort of thing. And we've trained hundreds of investigators. So we know what we're doing. The course works. Our trainees, our graduates are very often hired actually before they even finish the course, because some applied to you. You call them in, you test them, and they're say halfway through our practice rounds, and they're fully capable of doing surveillance by that time. And very often they're hired by the agencies before they even finish our course. Now, in your situation, it's basically a do or die situation if you are training your own investigators. And very often what happens is you send them out on the road, and after your training, and if they are successful, they survive, and you keep them on. If they don't do the job properly, there's really not too much you can do for them. If they don't have an aptitude for it, or they don't like surveillance, or it doesn't fit into their lifestyle, then you lose that trainee and you start all over again. That doesn't happen with our program. It's do or die with us, yes, but their training is quite effective, and the practice that they do on their own time and at their own cost doesn't cost you a cent. They don't lose subjects that you're following for a client. You don't have to redo it with 2 or 3 investigators to clean up the mess that a trainee has muffed up. And we do provide testing to make sure that they are qualified before they're sent to employers for employment.
Now, my request of employers, and if you are viewing this video, you are likely an agency working for an agency who is trying to limit their cost of training. And to do so, to train yourself is extremely expensive. We understand that, and that's why this program was developed. And it's based on the fact that the trainees pay for their own training, and it eliminates a lot of people who are just tire kickers who know nothing about the industry, who have no idea what involves the lifestyle. They come to us. We provide intensive training both through various media means, plus on their own training, and then practice on their own, and come back to us as the initial 2 students did, and prove to us that they can do surveillance. Okay, so I hope you view the presentation, and if you have any questions or concerns, please contact me by email at services@investigations.space, or through the website www.investigations.space. Thank you.